Whenever an HTTP request comes in, something must handle that request, so it eventually results in an HTTP response. Those pieces of code that handle requests and result in responses make up the request pipeline. What we can do is configure that request pipeline by adding middleware, which are software components that are assembled into an application pipeline to handle requests and responses. A few examples of middleware that can be added to this pipeline are diagnostics middleware or middleware to handle authentication, and so on. Let's have a look at such a request. The ASP.NET Core request pipeline consists of a sequence of request delegates, called one after the next, from one piece of middleware to the next. Each of those has the opportunity to perform operations before and after the next delegate, and that eventually results in the response we need. Important to know is that each component chooses whether to pass the request on to the next component in the pipeline or not. So, the order in which we add middleware to the request pipeline matters. A good example would be authentication middleware. If the middleware component finds that the request isn't authorized, it will not pass it on to the next piece of middleware, but it will immediately return an unauthorized response. It's thus important that the authentication middleware, in case of our example, is added before other components that shouldn't be triggered in case of an unauthorized request. Let's re-add some of the middleware we commented out in the previous demo to the request pipeline in the next demo, so we can learn a bit more about manipulating this.